today we are back to give you the pros and cons between Mr. Sanchos and Playa Mia. Us four, we just got back from a great 7-day Caribbean cruise, and we did have the chance to go to Playa Mia this time. These guys had the chance to go to Mr. Sanchos last time, so we want to compare the two and let you know which one is better. So first off on our list, we're going to start with Mr. Sanchos, the good things. Peter, go ahead and what was the first good thing that we found about Mr. Sanchos?
The better music and the atmosphere it was more of like a party atmosphere, really good music, top 40s.
Yeah.
It was more of a fun place to be if you're, 21 plus.
Right. So basically, it was kind of like a club or a party, but at the beach. So it was a beach party atmosphere. The drinks were flowing, the food was flowing. So that's really all you needed, I think, to have a great time at Mr.
But
Sanchos.
kids are allowed at Mr. Sanchos, right? But you're saying that they're just actually more geared towards your older crowd, 21 and up.
Right. So that's something good about Mr. Sanchos. It isn't necessarily going to be a bunch of like toddlers running around your feet and everything. Like we said, kids are welcome, but it is geared kind of more for that upper age. So second good thing on the list, Corey, do you want to read that one?
Yeah. The alcohol and food selection was better.
Yeah.
When we went, it was really nice because we got our spot at Mr. Sanchos, and they brought a menu, and the waiter would just come by, and the menu was very large, so there was a lot to pick from.
Okay, yeah. So the alcohol and food selection, it seemed, we had a great time at Playa Mia. The food was great, but I think what they're saying basically is it was more of like a traditional Mexican, lunch, that kind of thing. It wasn't. We had chicken nuggets at Playa Mia, which again is great for kids and everything, but.
I think really the only Mexican thing we really had at Playa Mia was they had those little taquitos, and then we had Mexican chips, which I love, but
That was only like 2 things that we had.
Right, they were like authentic Mexican.
Alright, so we're going to be doing 2 good things, 2 bad things for Mr. Sanchos and Playa Mia. Mama, do you want to take the next bad thing?
For Mr. Sanchos?
Yeah, the first bad thing.
Limited seating.
Yeah.
So, from what they were saying at Mr. Sanchos, there's not a lot of seating available. It was very plentiful at Playa Mia. They were always bringing out a lot of chairs. So that was something they noticed, because I think you guys even mentioned you all had to sit at a table. Y'all didn't have a beach chair.
We were at the end of the beach at a table. It was nice, but
it's not
You
allowed
wanted to be in a beach chair.
available. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
So
we loved it at Playa Mia. We had beach chairs and umbrellas and everything.
Yeah. Keep that in mind. Both of these places are super popular when you are visiting Cozumel.
Yeah.
Lots of people go there, so you do want to try and get there. I think the earlier the better. And we'll talk about how you're able to get there earlier than everyone else.
And I think we were one of 7 ships there that day.
So it was busy. It was very, very busy. I'll take the second bad thing. It was the activities weren't upcharged at Mr. Sanchos. So we actually did have Mr. Sanchos booked up until I think a week before we sailed.
Yeah.
And then we canceled our reservation and booked Playa Mia because we started reading into it more and more and more, and we noticed that all of the the water park, the obstacle course, the boats. I think kayaks were the only thing that was pretty much included for the most part, and so it was just very discouraging that was an upcharge, and we was already paying. We was going to be paying the equivalent of what we paid at Playa Mia, after transportation and everything. So we just decided to switch to Playa Mia, and that way we would have, kind of an all-inclusive deal there. So that's the good and the bad about Mr. Sanchos. Now we're going to go about Playa Mia, and then we'll tell you which one we would recommend. So the first good thing about Playa Mia is it is family friendly. And don't get me wrong, Mr. Sanchos, it's not that it's not family friendly. Playa Mia is geared more towards families, I would say. They have the water park, they have the little kiddie splash park. Like I said, they do have the obstacle course, and at the buffet they have chicken nuggets and french fries. You know what I mean? So it is geared a lot more towards families and family oriented, and I think that does set it apart a little bit from Mr. Sanchos in that fact. So if you are looking for a family beach day, something nice, there's not going to be any dirty music playing, that kind of thing, Playa Mia would definitely be your one, I think. Next up, Peter, if you want to take the second good one.
Lots of seating.
Yeah, there was lots of seating.
There was a lot of seating, and like they were always bringing out more chairs, more umbrellas. It was like the beach never ended there.
Yeah.
And the umbrellas are included. They're not an upcharge.
Right. You do have to flag them down, and get them to come over to you, but they are included in your package.
Now,
And-
we gave our guy a tip, you know, I mean, tips are, you know, always
yeah,
welcome.
they do work based off of tips there, I think. I mean, they're obviously paid something, but I think the majority, just like a lot of the countries that you visit, are based on tips. So, you know, if he does come in a timely manner and sets your stuff up, you know, be generous to the guy setting up your umbrella and everything. So, there was lots of seating as opposed to Mr. Sanchos. You know, where Mr. Sanchos, they ended up having to, they said it felt very cramped, and I can see that because, you know, that is like a big, it's a name brand almost, you know, like people know it and they recognize it when they go to Cozumel. So that was a plus about Playa Mia. And then the last plus that we had was it is all inclusive. So whereas Mr. Sanchos, you would have had to pay for the obstacle course and you had to pay for the water park and all that stuff and the boats. At Playa Mia, it was included in your package, you know. And Playa Mia actually has different packages if you don't book through the ship that you can purchase. So that's another plus that they do have. So now we're going to get to the bad of Playa Mia. Where do you want to take that one?
Yeah, the first one that we found was the wait times for the activities were a bit longer. And I think the main reason was the limited life jackets too, because all of them were gone, so we had to wait for people to come back from the activities.
Right, yeah. So again, that goes back to you want to get there as early as you can, you know, because the later you get there, the busier it's going to get, the more crowded, and the more people that are going to be doing the same activity that you're wanting to do. So,
So like the activities y'all did the
obstacle course and the kayaks and the water.
And the water park.
Yeah. And all three of those had wait. The water park was the least wait time. We probably waited less than 5 minutes, I would say. But like the obstacle course, I think we probably waited a total of maybe 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes to get. I mean, it was fun once we got out there, but that was 15 minutes of our short stay there that we just had to spend in line, you know. So just keep that in mind. Wait times for activities can be a bit long, especially if there are a lot of ships in port that day. So maybe just check and see who's going to be with you that day. You can just Google, you know, port schedule for whatever port it is, and you'll find something. And then the last bad thing, Mama Hookum, if you want to take that one there at the very bottom.
All the short times through the ship excursion. So when we booked it, they actually called overhead and we were supposed to leave at 2:30. Now we didn't leave Cozumel till 7. So we were supposed to leave Playa Mia and we didn't get there till 10:45.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a very short stay. It was like 4 hours.
Right. Let me break it down for you. So we met the excursion here on board we met at the end of the pier at 9:45, like the tour ticket said. But then we just got huddled into this hut and stood there for another probably, I would say, 20, 25 minutes. Yeah.
When I looked at my watch. When we left Cozumel heading to Playa Mia, it was 10:25.
Right. So, you know, we waited another half hour, and then, you know, we went in, they moved us out of that hut into another line, and then we waited there for probably 10 more minutes. So there was 40 minutes almost of our excursion that was already gone. So then they get us on the bus. There wasn't room on the buses. They had to shuttle us around. We got on the bus, and the guy's like, meet me back here at 2:45. And at that point, it was I think 11.
Yeah, it was 10:45.
Yeah, it was almost 11, and our ship didn't leave port until 7. So we were a bit confused. We were like, why in the world are we being told to come back at 2:45 when our ship doesn't leave till so late? So that is a con, you know, just keep that in mind that if you are going to be booking through the ship, your ship may dock late, you know, 7, 8, 9, but your excursion is not going to be that long. So what I would recommend doing is going to Playa Mia's website and just getting a taxi there. If your ship is going to be there long, you know that, you know, Playa Mia is going to close before the ships leave. I would just get a taxi to Playa Mia, because then you know you're not going to miss the ship, because you know you forget and stay too late or whatever. Taxi was $5 a person from the port to from Playa Mia to the port. So I would imagine it's what, 10 round trip?
10 round trip, yeah.
10 round trip
Per person.
So I mean that's really not bad. It's really good for a taxi ride, you know, to Playa Mia. It's about 20 minutes away. So that was a really good price.
You know, because we thought, you know, because in other places we've been before, you know, they'll say, okay, you can go back to the ship at this time or this time or this time. You know, and so we waited, even though I didn't want to. They wanted to stay and do the water park, so we waited and we got to the bus stop at 3:30. And we walked up to the gentleman there with the buses, and we're like, can we take the bus back? And they're like, to me, I thought they were a little rude.
They were a bit rude.
They were like, no, you missed your bus. You have to take a taxi now.
Yeah.
You know.
So just keep that in mind. You know, don't expect to go back on the bus. Don't expect to go back on a different bus, even if it is, you know, same Puerto Maya or whatever. You're not going to be able to go back on that bus. That bus is specifically for the people that came on it from that specific cruise line. So all in all, guys, I think, you know, if you're thinking Mr. Sanchos Playa Mia, it really comes down to one thing: do you want family friendly or do you not? Both are really, really great places. Both have good food. Both have a great atmosphere. But one is more for an adult atmosphere, and one I would say is more really family friendly and family oriented. So I do hope that helps you guys make your decisions about Playa Mia. We had a ton of fun. Playa Mia versus Mr. Sanchos, rather. We had a ton of fun at Playa Mia. They had a ton of fun at Mr. Sanchos. So you're guaranteed to have a great time no matter which place you go, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out the Allure of the Seas vlogs to see our trip to Playa Mia, and we'll see you real soon.